It's morphin' time. Pterodactyl.
Hi there, this is Datila with Rangers of Wrestling Media. It's Wrestling Time Push, and for tonight I will be reviewing Monday Night Raw. Alright, so where do I even start? Tonight was 20 years of Randy Orton, and it kicked off with a celebration. Before I get into that celebration, I just want to talk a bit briefly about Randy Orton. So officially, as of today, he's been in the WWE for 20 years. My favorite Randy Orton gimmick will always be the Legend Killer. I just really like that gimmick. The Burn in My Light theme song was a banger. I really like how his feud with Mick Foley, because I feel like that was really what kicked off and at least I think that's what really kicked off the whole Legend Killer gimmick. Who can forget some of his most iconic moments, such as when he RKO'd a Stacy Keibler, or when he kissed an unconscious Stephanie McMahon, or how about who can ever forget when Evolution turned on Randy Orton the night after he won the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam and became the youngest World Heavyweight Champion in history at the age of 24. So Randy Orton has definitely had a long, storied career in the WWE. Of course, I think his biggest rival has been John Cena. At least I think that. But what do you guys think? What has been your favorite Randy Orton moment, match, segment? What gimmick of his do you guys like? The Viper, the Apex Predator, or the Legend Killer, or Evolution Randy Orton, or Pre-Evolution Randy Orton? Me, like I said, hands down, the Legend Killer will always be my favorite Randy Orton gimmick. Of course, I do like his run currently with RKBro. So hilarious. Alrighty. So Monday Night Raw kicked off the 20-year celebration of Randy Orton. Matt Riddle called Randy Orton by all three of his nicknames: the Legend Killer, the Apex Predator, and the Viper. Randy Orton, I like how he says that yes, he was born in Knoxville, Tennessee. Wikipedia's right, because most of the time Wikipedia's wrong. He says he's not going anywhere. He starts to name John Cena, HBK, Undertaker, Triple H, and Mick Foley, and he says that he became the Legend Killer because of Mick Foley. He also mentions Ric Flair. I'm surprised he didn't mention Batista here, since he and Batista were a part of Evolution. He says he's having more fun in his career due to Matt Riddle, and then they give each other a big hug. And then Riddle says he's got a surprise for Randy, a special guest. He's a second-generation wrestler, and it turns out to be none other than Cody Rhodes. So we get a legacy reunion. If only Ted DiBiase Jr. was there, would have been so epic. But okay, so up until this point, I really, really liked the segment. I thought it was a fun, nice segment, especially because we were celebrating Randy Orton. Then things get a little haywire because Seth Rollins interrupts Cody Rhodes before he can even say anything. And Seth Rollins says that Cody's here to steal Orton's spotlight. And he says the next generation will be inspired by himself. Then Ezekiel introduces himself to Randy Orton. Then KO comes out and calls Ezekiel a liar. And then the Usos interrupt the celebration. And the Usos say that it's been 20 years, 2 decades. The Usos were 15 when they were watching Randy Orton. Then chaos ensues. And then we find out that later on in the night, we're going to have an 8-man tag team match player. It's going to be the team of RKBro, Ezekiel, and Cody Rhodes versus the Usos, Seth Rollins, and Kevin Owens. So, like I said, great way to start off the show. I really did like the whole celebration about Randy Orton. I really wish would have had really much more of a moment between Cody and Randy, especially because Cody really didn't get to say anything to Randy. And then I just feel like the segment started off really, really strong, but it kind of lost its footing after everybody else came out. Then we had the Raw Women's Championship matches, Bianca Belair versus Sonya Deville. Okay, so I have to say, this reminds me of Sonya's feud with Naomi. Let me tell you why. So during this match, Sonya got catted out and she got DQ'd. Michael 101591 saying, I really enjoy the 20th anniversary celebration for Orton. I remember watching his debut on SmackDown where he faced Hardcore Holly. Yeah, and they actually showed that on. They actually showed that. So, I'm curious to see if they're doing this for Randy Orton. I'm curious to see what they do for Cena in June. 20 years of Cena. So like I was saying, so she gets counted out, she gets DQ'd, and she basically changes the rules every time. So again, it's kind of like her feud with Naomi on SmackDown. Of course, Queen Zelina and Carmella come out. They try their best to interfere in this match. Bianca goes crashing into the middle of the turnbuckle. Sonya went face first into the steel chair. And then at the end of the day, Bianca Belair wins. I'm surprised she won. I know it was for the title. Had this been a non-title match, I wonder if she would have still won. Because, WWE likes to make wrestlers lose in their hometowns. And they were in Bianca's hometown of Knoxville, Tennessee. So the match wasn't too bad. I just don't like the whole... This was just a rehash of Sonya and Naomi's feud. Nothing new. Yeah, that's true. Like I said, the match itself wasn't that bad. It's just everything that happened that led up to it. They should have just said from the beginning, this is a no DQ, no count out, no DQ match, and then I wouldn't have had such a problem with it. But because it was one thing after another, I just felt like it was all over the place. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm here on my notes from last week. It said that Sonya Deville was supposed to undergo a job evaluation because she had been abusing her power. What happened to that? Did we just forget that was going to happen? If it doesn't happen next week and it doesn't happen in the few weeks after that, then I guess that was just a scrap segment. Because I remember they said she was going to undergo a job evaluation. Maybe she'll undergo it next week. I don't know. All right, so then afterwards, at the end of this segment, Sonya slaps Carmella and Zelina, and she refuses to give them an opportunity at the tag titles. So then we get an Edge segment. Him and Damian Priest, and then we find out later in the night that their stable is called Judgment Day. How do you guys feel about that? Judgment Day. I guess it could have been worse. It could have been worse. WWE wants us to forget that was said. I guess so. All right. So Edge says they look down upon everybody and they kick him in the face. He said the people who support the Knox County mayor, he was talking about that. He also mentioned, I'm assuming the Tennessee's local team. He says, if you don't like it when the truth hits you in the face, you can chew on that. It isn't chips. And he says that he doesn't think AJ can hit the phenomenal forearm with one arm. And Priest says he is the punishment and Finn's Judgment Day has arrived. I guess that should have been the biggest hint right there when he said Finn's Judgment Day has arrived. So, not a bad segment. I want to see where this stable goes to and how long it takes before they add Rhea Ripley in, if they add Rhea Ripley. So next we get Veer Mahaan versus local jobber Sam Smothers. Quick squash match. What is there to say about this? Sam Smothers got smothered. And all right. So then you get an arm wrestling challenge. It's Omos versus Bobby Lashley. Before the start of this challenge, MVP cuts a promo saying that Lashley will be destroyed by his own ego and that he's foolishly chose to have this arm wrestling challenge. So Bobby Lashley ends up winning the arm wrestling challenge, and then at the end almost attacks Bobby Lashley, and later on in the night we find out that there's going to be a rematch at WrestleMania Backlash. Joe Shipley saying Veer needs to face a real opponent. Yeah, I definitely do agree. He does. So, I don't know why we have to see this match again. I know it's WrestleMania Backlash, but this is one match we don't need to see. We don't need to see Bobby Lashley versus Omos again. And if we do, can it just happen on a random episode of Raw? All right. So then we get Dana Brooke and Reggie versus Akira Tsuzawa and Tamina, with R-Truth being the special guest referee in a mixed tag match. It says, Michael 101 saying, those arm wrestling challenges are so boring. Notice how Lashley had 3 arm wrestling matches since his return. He did? He had 3? I don't recall the other 2. You have to refresh my mind on that. So I actually kind of thought this was a fun match. Akira Tsuzawa and Tamina pick up the victory, and then at the end, R-Truth tries to pin Dana, and she feels betrayed. So this is really a really hilarious segment. Props to Dana Reggie, Akira, Tamina, and R-Truth for making these 24/7 segments work. Then the first return of the evening is Becky Lynch. She comes back, her first appearance on Raw since WrestleMania. She basically starts to say that she's hit rock bottom, but this is only the beginning of a comeback and that we'll get to witness her comeback. She says, and she will be champion forever and no one can step to her. And then this is when Asuka returns. She says that no one will be ready for Asuka. So here's the thing, though. Asuka has been defeated already. She's no longer she's no longer in an undefeated streak. She's still the Empress of Tomorrow, but it's just a fact that like she's been defeated before. So there's been people that have been ready for Asuka. But I honestly think that if this is gonna be a feud between Becky and Asuka, I don't think Asuka's gonna win this. I think Becky might win this. So Michael11591 says Lashley faced Strowman, Apollo Crews, and now Omos in arm wrestling matches. Really? Oh, I have to go back and dig through that because I don't remember. So I actually like this segment, but again, we'll see how far this feud goes. Next week, I believe, is the go home show to WrestleMania Backlash, and we still don't know if Becky's gonna face Bianca. She probably is, but there's no announcement. Becky's acting like her crazy husband. Well, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree now, does it? Then we had Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. This wasn't a bad match, wasn't? One thing I did notice is Damian Priest came out to Edge's theme song. And I guess this is when they revealed the new faction name because they said representing Judgment Day. So pretty much Damian Priest dominated this match. Towards the end, Edge did distract Finn Balor, which allowed Damian Priest to hit Final Reckoning and pick up the win. Oh, I don't know why I put Finn Balor on there. But yeah, Damian Priest is victorious. I feel bad for Finn Balor. He's like on a losing streak. First, he loses his United States title against Austin Theory, and now he lost to Damian Priest. I don't know what's going to happen with Finn. He should have just stayed on NXT. Then we get a Miz TV segment with Austin Theory. And Miz says it's like looking at a mirror. He says young Miz had to earn the name The with a capital T. Josh saying, I feel bad for Finn too, getting buried. Yeah. And then the Miz says it's been 12 years since the Miz has been US champ, and Theory says the Miz was someone he looked up to. And he starts to say that the Miz was a 2-time Grand Slam champion. And the Miz says Austin Theory is going to live up to those expectations, and he's the youngest U.S. champion in history. Austin Theory then says he will be remembered as a U.S. champion. Then Miz says that people around him will be jealous because he's young, he's a trendsetter, and says people need to earn the opportunity at the U.S. title. They can't just demand one, which I thought was so funny that he said that, because right after he said that, I was surprised Mustafa Ali came back and returned. Yeah, Mustafa Ali is back. I don't know what they said to Mustafa Ali or how they agreed to get him to come back, but he's back. And he interrupted this segment and says he wanted an opportunity at the U.S. title. But the funny thing that I find funny is that Miz tells Ali, you still work here? And then Theory tells him, you're the guy that took the ball and went home. So Mustafa Ali says that he was thinking Austin Theory was going to hold an open challenge. I actually would like to see Austin Theory versus Mustafa Ali because I think it might be a good match, but at the same time, I don't want to see it because we know the outcome of that match. There's no way Mustafa Ali is going to defeat Austin Theory for the United States title. I'd rather have him go to SmackDown and face Ricochet for the Intercontinental title, and hopefully, I like Ricochet, but I wouldn't mind if he loses to Mustafa Ali. I thought Mustafa Ali wanted to get let go by WWE. Yeah, I thought so too. But hey, you know what? It's better to be on TV, I guess, and sit at home doing nothing for 2 years, waiting on your contract. So then I like how at one point I'll see Mustafa Ali kind of mimics Vince McMahon's little walk. And he says he thought Theory was Vince's chosen one. And then Theory texts Vince McMahon and sets up the match between The Miz and Mustafa Ali, which you could tell did not sit well with The Miz. But I just thought this little segment, that little bit with Ali was kind of hilarious. At least Mustafa Ali won. Yeah. So then this leads into Mustafa Ali versus The Miz. One spot that I like about this is when Mustafa Ali went like that and he said, awesome, copying The Miz. So that was hilarious. So according to commentary, this is Ali's first match back since October of 2021. And it looked like he didn't miss a beat. He ends up winning this match by a roll-up pin, nevertheless. And then, I don't know why. I don't know why. But as Ali was walking up, he gets taken out by Tommaso Ciampa, who is now listed as just Ciampa. So he turned heel and attacked Ali. I don't know why. We didn't get an explanation for it. We might get one next week. But if this leads to nowhere and Ali just ends up losing this feud maybe against Ciampa, then he should have just stayed home. And I wouldn't blame him if he does stay home after this feud. I don't know what the plan is for Ali. I don't even know if they have a plan. I mean, great that he got a win, but let's see what happens. Ciampa will join Ed's faction. That's what I heard. Gotta love pin. gotta love pin. Oh my god. Gotta love Pin Balor. That was hilarious. That's a good one, Brett. That's a good one. Pin Balor. I mean, oh my god, that is hilarious. Hilarious. Oh my god. Okay. Ciampa being only called by his last name doesn't make me mad. As other name changes that Dirty has done, I hope he joins Edge and Priest the same as Rhea Ripley. They said Rhea Ripley was gonna join. Yeah, I guess Tommaso Ciampa just being Ciampa isn't as bad. It's better that he got to be called by his last name Ciampa than being changed entirely. Brett coming here with that joke, that pin. That was a good one. Thanks for making me laugh. Oh my god. Okay, I gotta refocus here. Oh, speaking of Rhea Ripley, after this, she had a segment which basically says that when she arrived, this is not being called Tomato Ciampa. You guys are hilarious. You guys made me laugh today. Thank you guys. Speaking of Rhea Ripley, she had a segment after this, and she said that when she first arrived to Raw, she was the women's champion, and then ever since after she lost the title, she's been in the tag team division, has been given weak partners that basically have been holding her back, and then Liv Morgan attacks her. So if Rhea Ripley doesn't end up joining Edge's faction, then it was kind of pointless that they split her up from Liv Morgan, because then now there's literally only 3 teams in. Actually, no, wait a second. Didn't Carmella and Zelina split up and now they're back together? So MIB, Men in Black GIF, we're just gonna forget they split up. So I guess there's 3 teams on. So then after that, we get a hilarious segment with Kevin Owens, Seth Freakin Rollins. Basically, Kevin Owens is having a conversation with Chad Gable, and Seth Rollins interrupts. And Chad Gable says this is an A+ and B conversation, which offends Kevin Owens because he doesn't want to be called a B. So he tells Chad Gable to leave. And Kevin Brett says Edge's faction is called Judgment Day, which is pretty good. At least it's better than the House of Purple, a ripoff of the House of Black. That is true. They did a split up. Typical WWE wanting us to forget that happened. Yeah, right? Men in Black GIF right here. I should save a picture of that. You know what? Next time I go on my stream for Raw or SmackDown, I'm gonna say if I have a picture of that Man in Black GIF, I'm just gonna post it whenever WWE wants us to forget something. I think that'd be a really cool idea. So Kevin Owens says that he still remembers where Seth Rollins called him last week, calling me fat ass. And he says that he wants to give Seth Rollins a lie detector test to see if Seth means what he says. And oh my god, it's just such a hilarious thing. I really love the banter between KO and Seth freaking Rollins. Seriously, I do. So this leads into the main events, the 8-man tag team match. We got the team of Cody Rhodes, RKBro, and Ezekiel versus Kevin Owens, Seth freaking Rollins, and the Usos. A little true about Men in Black, yeah. So I actually really enjoy this main event. I like that Ezekiel immediately went after Kevin Owens. I mean, he went after him like as soon as the bell rang. And then Cody sent Jimmy to the outside. So I have to say, Randy deserves that win for his 20-year celebration. Yeah. So I have to say my favorite spot in this match, I don't know if you guys caught it, but my favorite spot in this match was when Randy Orton was like sending people flying over the announce table. I guess he poked Kevin's eye or something, but Kevin was like, "Ow, my eye!" I thought that was so hilarious. I know, I think that was the funniest thing ever. And then of course, Cody Rhodes, RK-Bro, and Ezekiel getting the win with Randy Orton getting the pin. And oh my god, this is such a hilarious main event. Such a hilarious segment. I actually really enjoyed tonight's Raw. I really did. The suit that Rollins wore in Orton's celebration looked like he came from Emerald City and stole it from the Wizard of Oz's wardrobe. Hey, yeah. He wore like that bright green suit. But overall, I actually really enjoyed tonight's Raw. Well, for the most part. Let's see, because Kevin Owens is the greatest. Yeah, he's the GOAT. So let's see. Let's recap. I really like the 20-year celebration of Randy Orton, even though the second half of that segment kind of dragged a bit. The Raw Women's Championship match was okay. Edge segment was cool. Veer Mahaan versus Sam Smothers, typical jobber thing. I really didn't like the arm wrestling challenge. The Dana Brooke Reggie, Akira Tsuzawa versus Tamina with R-Truth as special ref was okay. It was decent. Becky Lynch segment, was alright. Seth Rollins, no one can see the wizard. Finn Balor versus Damian Priest was okay too. I just feel bad for Finn Balor. Miz TV with Theory was alright. Mustafa Ali came back. I really dug the 8-man tag match and the KO Rollins segment that was before it. So you know what? I'm going to give Raw a 7.5 out of 10. It's almost an 8, but it wasn't quite there. If they would have taken out that arm wrestling challenge, I feel like, and that Veer Mahaan jobber thing, I probably would have given this a solid 8. But aside from that, yeah, 7.5 out of 10. Dude, tonight's show was not that bad. I actually really liked it. But with that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching and for your continued support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you all on Wednesday after AEW Dynamite. Bye.